People will have you believe that saying no makes you a bad person, that it means you don't care, that you're selfish. Well, let me tell you something. There is nothing selfish about protecting your time, your energy, your peace. The only people who get upset when you set boundaries are the ones who benefit from you having none. And if they can't handle your no, that's their problem, not yours. Think about how much of your life you spent doing things you didn't want to do just to keep other people happy. Think about how many times you've stretched yourself thin, exhausted yourself, put yourself last just so nobody would be upset with you. And where has that gotten you? Tired, frustrated, unfulfilled. You keep pouring into others, but who's pouring into you? Saying no is not about rejecting people. It's about choosing yourself. It's about recognizing that you cannot be everything to everyone and still have anything left for yourself. You can't keep giving and giving while your own needs go unmet. You've got dreams. You've got goals. You've got things you need to take care of. But if you keep letting everybody else's priorities take over your life, you'll never have time for your own. You've got to start looking at your time and energy like money in a bank account. If you give it all away without thinking, you'll end up broke. And when you're running on empty, those same people who took everything from you won't be there to refill you. They'll just move on to the next person who doesn't know how to say no. That's why you have to protect yourself. You have to start valuing yourself enough to stop overextending, overcommitting, and overgiving. Saying no doesn't mean you don't care about people. It doesn't mean you're turning your back on anybody. It simply means you refuse to keep sacrificing your well-being for the sake of making everyone else comfortable. People who truly respect you will understand your boundaries, and the ones who don't. They were never in your life for the right reasons to begin with. When you finally start saying no, some people will be shocked. Some will be angry. Some will try to guilt trip you. But that's only because they got used to taking advantage of your kindness. Stand firm. Let them react however they want. It's not your job to make everyone else comfortable. It's your job to take control of your life. Every time you agree to something that doesn't align with your goals, you push your dreams further down the list. Every time you take on a responsibility that isn't yours, you steal time from yourself. You keep saying yes to things that drain you, yes to people who don't appreciate you, yes to situations that pull you away from what truly matters. And the more you do it, the less space you have for yourself. Look at your life right now. How many things are you doing because you want to? And how many things are you doing just because you feel pressured, obligated, or afraid to disappoint someone? You can't build the life you want if you're constantly living for other people. You can't become the person you were meant to be if your schedule is filled with everybody else's expectations. If you're always available for them, when will you ever be available for yourself? You need to realize that your time is the most valuable thing you have. You can't get it back. You can't rewind it. You can't exchange it for more. So when you give it away freely without questioning whether it benefits your growth, you're robbing yourself of your potential. You could be using that energy to invest in your future, to sharpen your skills, and to get closer to your purpose. But instead, you're stuck handling problems that aren't even yours to fix. And don't think for a second that people don't notice. They know you're the one who always says yes. They know you're the one who won't speak up, won't push back, won't set a boundary. And they will take advantage of that, not necessarily because they're bad people, but because they're human. If you keep giving, they'll keep taking. And the only person who can stop it is you. Start paying attention to what you're sacrificing when you say yes to things that don't serve you. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's your sleep. Maybe it's the time you should be using to work on your goals. Maybe it's the peace of mind you desperately need. But one thing is for sure, every time you say yes to someone else's priorities, you're saying no to something in your own life. And that something might be the very thing that could change your future. You need to get comfortable with disappointing people. You need to understand that their reaction to your no is not your responsibility. You are not here to live on their schedule, to handle their burdens, to be their personal problem solver. You are here to fulfill your purpose. You are here to take control of your life. And that starts the moment you stop saying yes to everyone but yourself. If you don't set boundaries, people will set them for you. And trust me, they won't set them in your favor. They will take as much as you allow. They will push as far as you let them, and they will keep going until you finally put a stop to it. Some people don't care how much they drain you as long as they keep benefiting from your kindness, your effort, and your time. And if you never say anything, if you never push back, why would they stop? Do you ever notice how certain people only come around when they need something? They don't check in on you. They don't ask how you're doing. They don't show up when you're struggling. But the moment they need a favor, the moment they need a shoulder to cry on, the moment they need someone to help them out of their mess, you're the first person they call. And because you're a good person, because you don't want to let anyone down, you keep showing up. But who's showing up for you? At some point, you have to realize that constantly giving without receiving is not kindness, it's self-neglect. And it's not their fault if you keep allowing it. If you never say, hey, I can't do this right now, if you never make it clear that your time and energy are valuable, then they will keep taking and taking and taking because you never told them to stop. You can't be mad at people for walking all over you when you never build a fence around your peace. And understand this, when you finally set boundaries, some people are going to get upset. Some will say you've changed. Some will act like you're the bad guy. But the only people who get angry when you start protecting your time are the ones who benefit from your lack of limits. Let them be mad. Their reaction is not your problem. Their disappointment is not your burden. You have to stop fearing rejection more than you fear being used. You have to stop worrying about losing people and start worrying about losing yourself. Because every time you let someone cross a line without consequence, you teach them that your needs don't matter. And if you keep doing that, you will wake up one day feeling empty, exhausted, and wondering why no one respects you. The answer is simple. People respect what you demand, not what you tolerate. Boundaries are not walls. They are doors with locks. You get to decide who comes in, how long they stay, and what they bring with them. And if someone refuses to respect your space, your time, and your energy, then they don't deserve access to you. The moment you understand that, the moment you start standing firm on what you will and won't allow, everything in your life will begin to change. Your life is like a table, and there are only so many seats available. If you keep filling those seats with people and commitments that don't serve you, then there's space left for the right ones. Every time you say yes to something that drains you, you're pushing away something that could elevate you. Every time you agree to something that doesn't align with your purpose, you're blocking the opportunities that do. You can't expect the right doors to open when you're too busy holding the wrong ones open out of guilt or obligation. Think about the last time you said yes to something you didn't want to do. Maybe it was a favor that took up your entire day. Maybe it was an event you didn't even enjoy. Maybe it was helping someone who never helps you in return. Now ask yourself, what could you have done with that time instead? Could you have worked on your goals? Could you have taken a step closer to the life you want? Could you have rested and recharged so that when the right opportunity showed up, you had the energy to grab it? People think success is about constantly adding more to your plate, but sometimes it's about clearing the plate completely. It's about removing what no longer serves you so that something better can take its place. If your hands are full of things that don't fulfill you, how will you ever be ready to catch the blessings that are meant for you? You can't keep hoarding responsibilities, obligations, and distractions, thinking that one day something good will magically fit in between. Saying no is not about rejecting everything. It's about making room for what matters. It's about recognizing that your time is an investment and you can't afford to spend it on things that give you no return. The right opportunities will never compete for your attention. They will wait for you to be ready. But if you're too busy giving your time to things that don't move you forward, Those opportunities will pass you by and they won't come back. Some people will try to convince you that saying no means you're missing out. But the truth is, you're only missing out on what was never meant for you. The right doors don't need to be forced open. The right people don't need to be chased. The right opportunities don't need to be squeezed into your already crowded schedule. When you start saying no to what drains you, you naturally make space for what fuels you. If you want to level up in life, you have to stop letting unimportant things take up space. You have to start treating your time, your energy, and your focus like prime real estate, because that's exactly what they are. And if something doesn't add value to your life, it has no business being there. The moment you understand that, you'll stop feeling guilty for saying no and start feeling excited about what's coming next. Confidence isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. And the foundation of that confidence is the ability to stand firm in your decisions. Every time you make a choice that aligns with your values, every time you say no to something that doesn't serve you, and every time you take control of your own life, you strengthen that foundation. The more you own your choices, the more you trust yourself. And the more you trust yourself, the more unstoppable you become. Too many people second guess themselves because they're afraid of what others might think. They hesitate, they doubt, and they seek constant validation. But confidence doesn't come from making choices that please everyone else. It comes from making choices that are right for you. When you constantly adjust your life to fit other people's expectations, you weaken your voice. You train yourself to believe that your needs, your desires, and your instincts don't matter. And once you start believing that, it becomes easy for others to control your life. Owning your choices means standing behind them even when they're unpopular. It means not letting guilt or pressure push you into decisions that don't align with your goals. It means understanding that you don't owe anyone an explanation for why you choose to protect your time, your peace, and your future. People will always have opinions. They will always have something to say. But at the end of the day, they're not the ones living with the consequences of your decisions. You are. The moment you start taking full responsibility for your choices, everything changes. You stop blaming circumstances, you stop making excuses, and you stop waiting for permission. You start moving with certainty, knowing that every decision you make is a step in the direction of the life you want. And when you operate with that kind of clarity, people take notice. They respect you more. They question you less. Because confidence isn't about arrogance, it's about certainty. And certainty comes from knowing that you are in control of your own life. When you hesitate, when you waver, when you let others dictate your path, you give away your power. But when you stand firm, when you say, this is what I want and this is what I'm doing, you send a message not just to others, but to yourself. You train your mind to believe in your own decisions. And once you believe in yourself, there is no limit to what you can accomplish. Confidence doesn't come from waiting for the right moment, the right opportunity, or the right approval. It comes from making a decision and owning it fully and unapologetically. And when you master that, you don't just change the way you see yourself, you change the way the world sees you. Discipline isn't just about waking up early or sticking to a schedule. It's about knowing where to place your energy. Every goal, every dream, and every breakthrough you want to achieve requires energy. And if you're constantly giving that energy away to the wrong things, you'll never have enough left for what truly matters. Discipline is the ability to say, I refuse to waste my energy on distractions, negativity, or anything that doesn't serve my purpose. It's about protecting your focus like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. Every conversation you engage in, every argument you entertain, every person you surround yourself with, it all affects your energy. If you're always caught up in the drama, constantly proving yourself to people who don't even matter, or chasing validation from those who will never appreciate you, you are draining the very fuel you need to build your future. Energy is not infinite, and if you don't guard it, it will be taken from you piece by piece until there's nothing left for the things that push you forward. Discipline means making hard choices. It means saying no to meaningless distractions even when they're tempting. It means walking away from people who drain you, even if you've known them for years. It means turning off the noise, locking in on your goals, and refusing to let anything pull you away from them. Some people call you cold. Some will say you've changed. But understand this growth requires sacrifice. And one of the biggest sacrifices you'll ever make is letting go of anything that doesn't contribute to your future. Your energy is like money in a bank account. If you keep making withdrawals without ever making deposits, you'll end up broke. Every time you invest your energy into something that strengthens you, your health, your goals, your peace, you're making a deposit. But every time you waste energy on things that drain you, you're making a withdrawal. And if you keep withdrawing without discipline, you will end up physically exhausted, mentally drained, and emotionally bankrupt. Protecting your energy is not selfish, it's necessary for survival. The difference between successful people and those who never reach their potential is discipline. Not talent, not luck, not opportunity, discipline. The discipline to say no when everyone else is saying yes. The discipline to stay focused when others are distracted. The discipline to walk away from what feels comfortable and chase what challenges you. Because without discipline, even the greatest ambition will go to waste. You can have all the potential in the world, but if your energy is constantly being drained by the wrong things, you will never have the strength to execute it. If you want to elevate, you have to protect your energy like your future depends on it, because it does. That means being intentional about where you put your focus, who you give your time to, and what you allow into your space. The moment you master this, you will unlock a level of discipline that makes success inevitable. Power isn't in arguing, begging, or trying to convince someone of your worth. Power is in knowing when to walk away. It's in recognizing that your time, energy, and peace are too valuable to be wasted on people or situations that don't respect you. Too many people stay in places where they are unappreciated because they fear the unknown. But real power is having the courage to leave anything no longer serves you without hesitation, without regret, and without looking back. When you stay in a situation that drains you, you are giving your power away. Every moment you spend trying to prove yourself to someone who refuses to see your value, you are handing them control over your life. Walking away is not a weakness, it is the ultimate display of strength. It says, I refuse to shrink myself to fit into spaces that were never meant for me. It means you understand that your growth is more important than your attachment, that your peace is more valuable than someone's approval, and that your future cannot be built on a foundation of disrespect. People will test you. They will see how much they can take from you before you break. They will push boundaries to see if you will keep allowing it. And every time you stay in a place where you are not valued, you teach them that their behavior is acceptable. Walking away is how you set the standard. It's how you show the world that you are not afraid to choose yourself. And when you make that choice, you command a different level of respect, not just from others, but from yourself. Walking away is not just about leaving people behind, it's about leaving behind anything that no longer aligns with your purpose. That could be a job that drains your soul, a friendship that no longer feels mutual, or a mindset that keeps you playing small. Growth requires separation. It requires the ability to detach from the things that hold you back, even when it's uncomfortable. Because the truth is, as long as you're afraid to walk away, you will always be stuck. You will always be at the mercy of people who know they can manipulate your loyalty. The most powerful people in the world are the ones who know they don't have to force anything. They don't chase, they don't beg, they don't argue to prove their worth. They know that walking away is not losing, it's winning. It's reclaiming your time, your dignity, and your self-respect. It's sending a clear message that you will not settle for less than what you deserve. And when you walk away with confidence, the right people, the right opportunities, and the right energy will always follow. You don't have to fight for a seat at a table that was never built for you. You don't have to convince anyone to see your value. Real power is knowing that if a situation doesn't respect you, you have the strength to leave it behind and create a better one. And when you truly embrace that power, nothing and no one will ever be able to control you again. The moment you learn to say no, you take control of your life. No distractions, no disrespect. No to anything that pulls you away from your purpose. Because every time you say no to what drains you, you say yes to what builds you. You say yes to your peace, your growth, and your future. And that's where real power begins. People will try to make you feel guilty for choosing yourself. They will call you selfish, say you've changed, and try to manipulate you into staying the same. But understand this: protecting your energy, setting boundaries, and refusing to be used is not selfish. It's survival. It's the difference between staying stuck and finally stepping into the life you were meant to live. When you stop letting fear control your decisions, you gain confidence. When you walk away from what no longer serves you, you make room for something greater. And when you take ownership of your choices, discipline becomes second nature. This is how you build a life that's not dictated by other people's expectations, but shaped by your vision. You don't need anyone's permission to choose yourself. You don't need to justify your boundaries, explain your decisions, or seek validation for the way you protect your peace. If something doesn't align with your purpose, you have the right to leave it behind, no guilt, no hesitation. And when you do, you'll realize that saying no was never about shutting doors. It was about opening the right ones. The life you want will require you to make difficult choices. It will require you to be bold, to stand firm, and to walk away from anything that doesn't elevate you. But once you commit to that path, nothing and no one will have the power to stop you. Because a person who controls their own life is unstoppable. And that person is you.